My grandfather used to tell me a small incident in his life. He was a superintendent of police in that era where, before independence. So his wife, my grandmother, asked a constable to bring some curry, vegetables. So she should bring potatoes. He asked if the potato is not there, then he should bring brinjals. If the brinjals are all not there, ladies fingers. Ladies fingers ही बोलते हैं ना भिंडी को. You please forgive me about the names, because when I say ladies fingers and you become angry, I am not saying about the ladies fingers, I am talking about the vegetable. She said, bring tomatoes, this and that. I said, suppose they are not there. Then he said, then what am I to do if nothing is there? Then you need not go. Then he said, I am not going. You got the logic? You always think that if you don't get it, if you don't achieve it, then in the end what happens is you will not try. That is the greatest mistake in our education system. We always tell about the possibility of not being able to achieve. Why don't you give a boost how to achieve it? And that Gayatri Mantra, we call it as Kamadhenu, a desire-fulfilling cow, the milk. And what do you mean by milk? The food. The best mind-transforming food is milk. And I already told you that your food milk makes your mind. And if the mind is properly made, all obstacles are gone. Next. The trees, birds and animals are being massacred with such speed that soon the earth may become completely deserted. That is what is happening in many places. Next. Lack of intellect, cruelty, a very low level of thinking process, and a complete assurance of affection is seen in mutual dealings. Not an assurance, a wrong word has been placed. There is no assurance of affection. Whenever we deal with people, what happens? Many people tell me, so in an open way you are saying that we don't have an intellect. I said, yes, I can prove it. And if I prove it, then don't be angry with me. If I prove that there is a lack of intellect, and if I prove it and if you accept it, don't be angry with me. Should I tell what I told him? No? Lack of intellect? Should I tell what I told him? But you should not be angry with me. You promise it? Nobody is promising, so forget about it. Huh? Somebody is laughing. What does it mean? I understood you correctly or I understood you wrongly? Okay. The lack of intellect, cruelty. What is cruelty? Do you really think that when you congratulate someone who got a first class, is it from the heart or from the lips? Whenever we are congratulated, be honest. And don't tell me. You decide yourself that when we congratulate somebody's success, okay, you say, very good, many happy, this, that. But in here, if I have been that is a low level of cruelty. And of course, the thinking process, nobody thinks anything. Let us be very, very, very clear that we are not thinking, but we are worrying. Worrying is a process where you are not thinking about a point for solution, but you are worried about this, I am worried about this, I am worried about this. You go on repeating it. You are worrying, the same thought. But you never think how to solve the problem. And then there is no assurance of affection. You don't worry, I am together with you. Together we will do it. That aspect never comes. Man is going towards group suicides. Lack of friendship, cordial behavior, and cooperation is driving human beings to self-centered activities. You remember this word self-centered. I am not talking egoism or ahankara or selfish. He has not even thought to think otherwise. Whenever you think, you always think to me, to me, to me. Self-centered activities without going together, etc. All these problems are the problems of the modern scientific approach towards life. Next. Now, in science, what spiritualism talks about science, that is what I am trying to explain. In science, a particular subject is developed when you go to the fundamentals of that subject. If you want to study matter and its interaction, because I am a chemistry professor, I always give the same example. You can put it into your own topics. Until and unless they knew about the atom, no development was there. What is the atom? The smallest particle. The fundamental. So if you want to understand anything in a scientific way, we go to the fundamentals. When we go to the fundamentals, something happens. What happens? What you have termed as the fundamental thing in that particular subject. For example, when I am talking about the chemistry, I am talking about the atom. Initially, as per Dalton and others at that time, it was believed that it is indivisible. Atom is, by nature, by character, is indivisible. After a few years, Niels Bohr comes. He says atom is divisible. When I am taking Niels Bohr, I am also talking the group of people. There are many scientists there who has contributed to understand that atom is divisible. And they have divided it into three parts: the neutron, proton, and electron. Again, it is called atom. But now, it is not an indivisible atom, but it is a divisible atom. Then Einstein and his group came. And they said, we have to question mark atom. Probably it is a bundle of energy. What we call the mass energy equivalence. Sometimes the electron and protons behave as if they are waves, energy. Sometimes they behave like particles.